Greetings and salutation, folks. Welcome back to episode 6 of The Vital Check with your friendly neighborhood MD, Dr. Joe, alongside
me, DJ Critical. Hey.
And it was so successful, our last episode, that we decided to just,
keep it going.
Keep the ladies here. Keep the bell.
The bells. The bells. That's like your new tag name.
That's
the
right.
Bells.
Hashtag Bell Sisters.
Bell Sisters.
Bell Sisters. So go ahead, ladies. Introduce yourselves again to those who missed episode 5, and I hope you didn't because it was a great conversation.
Awesome. Amazing. Very, very enlightening.
Yes.
Fuego. I am Anibel Sauls. I am a consultant for one of the big 4, and I recently became a cat mama.
Cat mom.
Meow.
Hi, Christie-Belle Garcia. Well, Dr. Garcia.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm a higher ed administrator with a long history in DEI and student success work. The mom of 2 young boys, and that, if you know about that, is a full-time job.
It sure is, man.
Are these your adopted sisters?
Pretty much. I mean, you know how you family, you don't even have to be adopted or
okay.
not. It's like once you family, you family.
Okay.
So they're just sisters.
That works.
Period. That's right. So our humble brag. It's our mutual friend.
Who?
His name is David.
Oh, David P.
David P. The Yard Ute.
The Yard Ute.
But he changed his Instagram handle, so it's no longer Yard Ute.
Oh.
So our friend David is now a homeowner.
Oh, big things.
Congratulations. He bought a house, his first house, Jamaican immigrant himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
like
out
he's
here.
Like really Jamaican.
Yeah.
Like I'm like fake Jamaican.
Fake.
No, I mean I wasn't born there. Like he was like born there.
Yeah.
So he has a little edge over me.
So he's out here living the American dream, bought his first home, snap. And he is launching his own business. So not only does the man have a corporate job, is a brand new spanking homeowner, now he is launching Nefertiti's Garden, which essentially was his pandemic project. So he needed some self-care, and he started creating these terrariums of cacti and succulents.
Love that.
Succulents.
So awesome. Now he is selling it. His self-care project is now a hustle.
That's big.
Yeah, so a black male company that's starting up. So as soon as that launches, we will be promoting it heavy.
Hell yeah. Right here.
Support.
Succulents.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We should have a little one here.
Yeah, some succulents.
I had one.
He's a slashpreneur. Like he is
slashpreneur.
Homeowner slash.
That's true.
We live
so
in a
slash
slash
David,
culture.
you out here. You a
David, you're doing things.
slashpreneur. That's a new one for me.
That's big.
Hashtag. So Nefertiti's Garden, again, be on the lookout. I had one of the prototypes, but I am not a succulent mom, so
what does a succulent mom mean?
It's kind of hard because you can't. They like dry environments, so you can't overwater them.
Dr. Joe, did you kill the succulents?
I killed the prototype, guys. So
I promise you all, she's a really good doctor.
Don't let that.
My other plants are thriving, right? My money tree is like beautiful, but somehow this prototype did not survive my home.
You have to get used to it, like.
So it's like
how to care for it.
Different standard of care, yes.
Yes. So like to me, like I water my plants every week. I have a routine, but this one, right, was resilient, and I just overwatered
the next
it.
one.
And I told him I need another prototype, so.
Yeah. We're gonna do that.
So
we're gonna do that for you.
We are proud of you, bro, and
big facts. Keep doing big things.
Up and up. That's all we can do, right? Okay, so moving on to the next segment of Critically Single.
Yep, I'm still single.
Critically.
We're gonna allow some more time to, introduce your friends, your significant others, or I don't even know if you can call them.
Oh, yeah, they're not significant. They're not significant.
Yeah, so we're gonna,
give I'm still working on that. Yeah. But now I've realized that dating. Well, I'm not gonna say I've realized now, but everybody here hasn't dated in a long time.
Excuse me, sir. I date my husband every day.
Oh yeah, you can do that. So you do know that
yesterday consisted of Domino's pizza takeout, okay? But we dated last night.
So
in a very regular way.
Not a swing
and
way.
if not, that's okay too. Hashtag safe space.
Dr. Joe's trying to make it PG.
Yes.
Those of us here also date our husbands, and it's not always PG.
Yes.
So I've realized that obviously dating is time consuming, and for me, it's expensive.
Well, you got expensive taste because you're out here on Broadway shows and steakhouses.
Right.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but it's like at this point I don't date as it takes planning and scheduling.
It sure does. Yes.
Because I have to like be aware of one, my time and my finances, and I'm a giver. So along with the date.
Unless that wasn't clear.
Right, so you're not only gonna get a date, you're gonna
you're generous.
You're gonna get an experience.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So dating DJ Critical is an experience. You're gonna get.
Don't flood our comments, guys. All right.
You're gonna get showered.
He just will never take you to the Bronx.
I won't. No, I am.
Maybe to the Botanical Garden.
No, there's one in Brooklyn. We talk about that. But well, yeah, all right. I'll take you to the Bronx one. Maybe they have succulents and stuff. Some other things there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just that's where I'm at.
But are you the kind of gentleman that does not let your lady pay?
At all. Like, don't you dare.
Okay. So I wonder if Millennial in Debt was here, maybe you should have a sinking fund for dating.
I think that's what it is. I'm gonna have to have like a dating pool, like a.
I'm thinking we gotta expand your ideas about.
No, I do non-expensive dates.
Okay.
But I do also do a lot of. I wouldn't say expensive, but like if the last time I went to dinner, it was like probably like $300 for like me.
But you derive enjoyment from that, right? Like
yeah, it's not for them. It's not like I'm trying to like show them the most. No, it's.
Okay.
Honestly, like. If they wasn't there, I was gonna go by myself.
I think I feel though that if they don't even offer, you should run like the other way, because that could be problematic as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then it wouldn't be a date. That would be like just two homies hanging out.
No, not like that though. But I mean, like,
so you want them to like pull out the wallet, kind of?
No,
like, no.
Because I'm like, listen, if on the first date you're not like.
Well, yeah, on the first date, like afterwards,
as you
when
progress,
there's
if it's progressing and this is somebody you're really thinking I could build a partnership with this person, it is indicative, of how that person would be if you're sort of envisioning a life with that person, or sort of a deeper connection.
Like after
like
date 5 or 6, and if they want to play, we'll have to I'll pay. No. I'll take their card, and they'll take their card, and then.
Or it's not even that you even let them pay, but I think that person should have maybe even just an intention,
right?
Of knowing that.
I'm cool with
obviously
that.
You're paying it's draining on finances. Hey, we out here, everybody here trying to hustle, do what you gotta do. I feel that just shows that they're thoughtful.
Right.
Even if you don't let them because you're a gentleman and you budget it yourself that way and you have that sinking fund, but I think it's more of the thought of it would be nice, or even if they don't pay, that they might show another gesture, right? I think as they're moving,
dessert.
They do that, which is good, right?
Afterwards,
I think
so it takes a little pressure off.
I think a lot of it. I'm just doing a lot of first dates.
Yeah, because I was gonna say date 5 and 6.
Because I'm just
getting that far.
I'm just dating. Just dating multiple people. So
that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
I think you really need Millennial in Debt to give some advice on it.
A little like
how do we manage this?
How do we budget dating?
I'm just thinking about though the gender roles and this idea that being a gentleman equates to you having to be the one that pays, and if you find someone that you're with and there's this expectation that I'm obviously my partner and I, we've been together for a long time, but even way back then I was like, why you all right, you could not pay, that's fine, this sense that he had to pay was not something that I felt, right? And at some point I'm this, we're in this for the long run.
That's That's
and so at this point, almost 20 years later, oh man, I'm just aging myself. And I'm just like 16.
No, she just
I've been together for
But even that, right? It's like I think the point Anibel was making. If this is gonna last,
exactly,
that's probably not how it's gonna sustain itself, right? It's.
I agree.
But if you start setting that expectation from the beginning, like
I think in my mind with chivalry just comes opening doors, pulling out chairs, paying for dates. I don't know. It's just weird.
I don't think it's weird. I mean, I think that's endearing, like appropriate. Like I even am looking for that because I think also women were socialized
to be thoughtful gifts. Like I'll just randomly
my mom. I remember
my
mom always saying, "Listen, you never leave your house without having money to know that you can cover. How are you gonna get home? You don't know the situations in this new dating, online dating, virtual world.
I've heard
you don't know what could happen.
Yeah,
horror stories of just like women with,
and if I want to leave, I have the power, right? It's sort of like I have the power to walk away. I don't, you drove me here back and get myself home.
Yeah.
Maybe like don't start with dinners. What if you have like a new strategy? Like you date
go to the
with
park if it's nice out,
or like
something.
Let's have a drink, right? And then maybe
I don't drink.
Like
coffee.
But like coffee, tea.
Okay, tea.
Yeah, you're Jamaican. You have to like tea.
Right.
I love tea. Yeah.
Right, but like this, like instead of it being like the first day, I'm gonna pour $300 for something that may not go to date number 2. Like I don't know that that's a good investment.
That is true because a lot of them just haven't gone past date 1.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
but then I don't feel like way about it. It was like, all right, cool. That's just
because you enjoyed it.
Well, you need to value your dollars a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that $150 you just spent on that homie could be in your fund and be reinvesting. I mean, we have financial service investment over here, but like,
you're right. You're absolutely
just
right.
saying. So maybe
that could be a new pair of sneakers.
Or
sure.
It could be a contribution to
to your
an investment account.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, Dr. Joe, maybe we'll challenge DJ Critical here about his dating style and be like, let's try a different.
I mean, I told him.
Obviously, my dating style is not working. It's
style.
the best because I've been single for
critically single.
You're welcome.
For some time. Thank you.
I really like what Christie-Belle recommended.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
The first date has to be low key.
Low key,
and then
set
like
the
expectations low, right? So, because if you're setting them high, right? Like, so what's happening to the anniversary dinner?
Yeah, you will be like in Jamaica for anniversary. Paris.
Yeah.
Nah, private jet status.
Jamaica. Don't be knocking Jamaica out.
No, I love Jamaica. But, for anniversary, I want the
also
in the
feel
bag,
like maybe.
So I think he also has this like socialization around like men's role, like, and I'm just really fascinated by this because that puts you in a box to have to feel like you have to perform in this.
I'm a performer.
But maybe you performing too much in love, like, and love is about being authentic and showing up like your real self because you're not gonna be performing.
See, but it's
my
because
real self is a performer.
But you're setting a standard on your end, but like, are you raising the bar for these ladies that are entering your space and that you're pouring energy into? Because because you're on a date doesn't mean that person is worthy.
They're not.
Not everybody's worthy of your time and energy, right?
That's the conflict where.
But I think maybe it doesn't. Maybe that it's like your vetting process needs to be assessed, right? Like, what would encourage you to bring that lady to, let's say, a Broadway show? Like, because in the exchange early on, like, something would lead you to believe, I'm like, no. Like, I know this is just going to be a one date, and that's it. Unless you're comfortable with that, and you're like, I just needed a date because I didn't want to go to the movies by myself. That's a whole different thing.
No, he likes to go to the movies by himself.
I went to the movies by myself the other day.
So then, to Christie-Belle's point, is like, why even go that extent if you already know that it's kind of dead in the water?
Yeah. So you're going to have to find a local black business.
I've done that too, but I've done all of the spectrum. There was a girl I dated at one point, and we went to a local black business brunch thing, and we had an amazing time. And that date ended up into like a weekend.
Okay.
And then?
And then it fizzled off. Like, it just...
All right, so with that one, so she had a son, and she was ready for like more of a family dynamic aspect, and I just wasn't But
see, you knew that though, right, beforehand, or did you find out she had a son later?
No, I knew she had a son. I didn't know that at that point. Like after that weekend, she was gonna be like, "All right, like, what are we doing?" I was trying to get to know her more.
See, you set yourself up though, because any woman probably that has a child is not thinking of something. The
dating thing more of a.
So it's probably gonna want something more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
they might wait to introduce you to their child, but they are.
But in the back of their mind, they're thinking it has to be like, somebody worthy.
And if y'all had this amazing weekend, she was like, "All right, we're ready to like start moving this faster, right?" Like, you know, some people get together
at a different pace than you're willing to.
Yeah, and that was the rift, and I had to let her go.
So again, I think that goes back to
so you have non-negotiables.
Yeah.
DJ Critical, you have some non-negotiables. I think you need to like list your non-negotiables on the table
up front
and be your authentically self, and be like, this is what I'm here for, and this is what I'm not here for. And if you make sure that before you even take the first step, you're clear about that, you're gonna start moving in the direction that's gonna bring you closer to what you want. If not, you're gonna keep going in the same circle.
Yes, that I'm in a hamster wheel.
Doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. Well, that's actually the definition of insanity, you know.
Yeah,
right?
I'm insane. I'm clear.
Insane, DJ Critical.
I'm clear.
Coming to the ones and twos.
It's like slowly but surely, I'm trying to like hop off the wheel. In like now, I'm trying to be more intentional, and I'm gonna implement the vetting process of these women and standards as
when
far
it's
as
fair, because it's not just for you, like you're doing it for them too, because that's time that they're spending maybe thinking it's gonna go somewhere.
Right.
Time
is really invaluable,
and they don't get it back.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean the experience was worth it.
Was it?
Yes, of course.
No, it only lasted that one time.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But I mean, also, like I told you before, right? Like, you can't do the same process and expect different results.
Yeah.
So you can't keep doing the same thing.
It's with different people, so the results vary.
Maybe the common denominator.
Yeah, the common is critical. Yeah.
The other thing I've been thinking,
that's why it's a segment.
Right.
Yes.
The other part is you keep talking about like I'm such a giver and I'm a giver. Like for some people that don't mean nothing. Like honestly, I could care less about gifts. Like I could
no, not even like
but
monetarily.
Like just like no, but I'm saying like giving, right? Like
I'm just thoughtful. I'm loving. I like cuddling. Like
like don't touch me. Like
that's me 100%.
And I'm just saying, like I think sometimes like centering that this other person may have interests and needs that are different than your own, and like less about like I am this person. As much as I'm trying to get this other person to see whether there's could be compatibility, right? Like because what you like to give, that other person may not be into. So are you willing to compromise about those things?
Oh, and we know how he feels about compromise.
No compromising.
I'm working on. No, I compromise. I compromise. It just sometimes my compromising happens. Hindsight, like after like I don't compromise, I'm like, damn, I probably should have, and then. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you now that any relationship you have to like it's vital. Like you're not gonna find the person
critical.
Let me ask you this: would you want to be with somebody that always agrees with you?
No.
Has no kind of decision making of their own, because that's essentially what it would look like. You would date yourself, and you don't want to date yourself, right? You don't want like
oh my god,
because then that's
dating myself wouldn't be that bad.
Oh my goodness,
I'm awesome.
I think Dr. Joe, we might have to have a few of the previous.
I'm awesome.
DJ
we kind of need a few sessions when I need to bring a relationship.
I think if I found somebody as like just chill,
or
just,
folk
like,
people he's dated before, and
that's disastrous.
Open up the little black book and like take a look back.
I choose you. Let's hear your perspective.
Let's give us the feedback.
Yeah, that's a dangerous episode.
That'll be interesting to bring people that I've dated.
I don't think I want to really delve into that.
That can get a little messy.
Yeah. Like this is a very small space. Like
this is not Jerry Springer. We don't want.
Yo, speaking of Jerry Springer, what's his name? The other
Maury.
guy.
He's done.
He's retiring.
Oh, is he?
Maury Povich?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I guess we're done with. Are you? What is it?
Are you the baby? You are not the father.
You are not.
Well, a bunch of us like.
It'll be funny.
We grew up on that.
It'd be funny if he'll just go to like a online space or something, like some like a streaming.
I think he's
What if he has like a nephew?
He had enough drama in his lifetime to feel fulfilled. Yeah.
What was the bald guy? His security? Steve.
Steve had his own spin-off.
Steve had his own show. That's how great that show was. If you had the security to get your own show.
Anymore. He made
He
made a living.
All right. So, okay.
Yeah, off that.
So that was a
critically single.
That was a critically single.
Yeah,
segment.
but no. Again, it was very
gems.
insightful.
I'm telling you, just straight gems on this episode.
The Belle sisters have really, planted a seed in my brain, and I'm gonna water it and give it some sunshine.
But not too much, so it doesn't die.
Exactly, like my succulent.
Yeah, no, we're not
gonna.
Yeah, like the Nefertiti's garden prototype.
Yeah, I'm sorry, David. I really am. Okay, so.
Your nails look nice, by the way.
Oh,
I meant to tell you.
It's an expensive new habit that I've developed. So.
Yeah, I've paid for a couple nails here and there.
Oh gosh,
sorry.
He's giving this, right? He's giving.
I mean, you need your nails done. I supported another black. All
that's
right,
right.
So
no,
that
that's
wait,
enough.
No.
That's it.
That same woman.
The nail technician, because he dated one.
Oh.
Right? What episode was that?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about her.
We want to increase listeners. We don't want to.
So the woman with the child that I really care for. Hi. Yeah, at one point, we were dating after that weekend, and she wanted to try out this new black-owned nail shop, and I just randomly just gave her like a little gift card, just out of nowhere, because
cute.
That's what I do. It's part of the experience when you date me.
The critical experience.
Yeah.
I need to stop saying critical. I think I tapped out with how many times I'm allowed to say that word.
Yeah, but yeah, they look nice.
Oh, thank you. I like them too. All right, so today's episode we are discussing a tweet that I recently saw on the Twitters, and essentially it says. They body shame Coi Leray for being skinny, Megan Thee Stallion for being tall and strong, Saweetie for plastic surgery, and Lizzo for having fat. I'm starting to think that there's no right way to occupy a body when you're a woman. So this tweet also kind of resonated with me because I am a person with some deep body dysmorphia.
You say it's deep? I feel like you're just
No. It's
dramatic.
like layers of just persistent trauma on this body, right? And the thing is, I'm so afraid of verbalizing it sometimes because I think like God's just gonna be like punish me and be like, you know what? You complain so much about this body, wheelchair for you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I am grateful.
You're such an extremist, like
no, that's me. So I'm grateful that these knees have crossed many finish lines and like many squats, right? Like, but I am not happy in my body. And I think it comes, I know it comes from our cultural perception of women's body. And, I have something but I definitely identified when I was 10. I remember shopping for my graduation dress and I had to shop in the junior section. And that was a big deal that like, here's a 10-year-old who's not fitting into normal 10-year-old clothes. And now she has to shop in the teenager section. And the teenager section things don't look like a 10-year-old. And I think ever since then, I have internalized like every imperfection that I find on my body. To the point where like now my husband's like, I can't hear it. Like, can you please stop talking about yourself like that? Because it's really just... like I love you, and to me, this hurts me.
Oh.
So I mean, and it's hard to unlearn that behavior because again, we come from a culture, and we're gonna get into it, where it's just like it's non-stop bantering, right?
Yes. Even in like I wouldn't say I have like body insecurities, but I've been told on several occasions how like I don't like to use the word skinny. I prefer slim
or lean.
Lean. I like that.
Yeah.
Lean. Mm-hmm. So, because I've seen way leaner people than me, and I'm like, I'm not really that lean, but whatever. And people will just be like, oh, you need to eat more. You need to do this. You need to like, and I'm like, I do. Like, I eat a lot actually. Thank you very much. And if I'm just
you're just a slow eater.
Yeah, and if I'm very slow, but if I'm not like the average or more meatier than you would want me to be, like I feel like you shouldn't just constantly just be on that person. Like, oh, you're not doing this. You need to do this. You need to do this. It's very like I can see where your the years of traumatic or insecurities would come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, ladies, because
how do you guys feel?
I mean, I can relate because I've never been the thinner girl in the room, and I think that in Dominican culture specifically, there's this obsession with like being, you know, you have to be thin, you can't be too dark, your hair has to be straight. Like there's all these standards, right, that are like put forth, and you know, you always have to look put together, and otherwise it's just not ideal. Like I remember, I mean, I have early trauma of this, like my aunt slapping my hand because I go to grab like the bread that they put out in the restaurant and like the little bread bags. Like, you don't need that, you know. Or being on a beach with all my other cousins and I'm the one that like gets stuck in the life, like, you know, the floaty because I'm trying to fit into, you know, my cousin who's obviously a lot, you know, thinner. And so, and then my uncle coming up with a whole song of the whale, La Ballenita, like this whole. And these are things that you carry with you throughout your life. True. And to your point, you have a loving partner that loves you despite, you know, your own, you know, love for your body, and it is hurtful. And it is like, you know, my husband would tell me, it's like, that's unattractive. Like, why are you, like, stop speaking about my wife like that. Yeah. Like, I'm offended. No. But it's so hard even when he loves me so much because there's pieces of me that don't fully love me. Yeah. Right? And that's
it's
hard.
Just that deep.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's just like, you know, there's this fundamental, and for as much as other people around you, you know they love you. Yep. Right. And you know it's unconditional, but something quite doesn't click for yourself because we're bombarded by family, by media. Like, everything you see tells you you're not
this
worthy.
This is a standard, right?
Yeah. Like, you're not that, right? And even when you go to shop, like, I've been to places where, like, the largest size is, like, I'm like, who fits this?
Yeah.
Like, who was this made for?
And now, and technically we're, like, in a
well, now we're in a plus size where it's
and it's like more inclusive, body positive, and I'm just like, now y'all got sizes. Like, where were these sizes?
But even with that, then you have people then, like, you know, Lizzo gets shamed all the time, like all you brought up in the tube, because then it's like, oh, she's glorifying obesity or glorifying, like, you know, being unhealthy. I'm like, who told you she's unhealthy? Like, where do you derive these like standards of beauty, right? Like, back in the day, like, having a full figure is equivalent to wealth, to status, to, like, you know. And so I think especially as women, we've been subjected to these like unattainable, unrealistic standards of beauty to where we punish ourselves. Yeah. Because if you think about it, everything we do to make ourselves fit that standard is literally almost like mutilation. You know, these corsets, or I think even in Chinese culture to like
trainers.
Yeah, I told somebody.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have a very distinct memory. I was 12 when I wore like my first faja, which is a waist trainer, guys. And I remember it was like a family party, and I had to sit in a corner because like
you couldn't breathe.
You're probably pain I had from that waist trainer. I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is...
I told somebody the other day, like, she was like, oh, because she had a kid, and she was like, oh, now I'm fat. And I'm like, you're not fat, first of all.
And we won't even talk about postpartum body change.
And then she had on a waist trainer, and she was like, oh, I have to wear this to fit into my dress. And I'm like, you don't need the waist trainer. But that's just
or me, find another dress. Maybe that's not the dress for you. Like, you know, you have to get to that point. But I think for a lot of people, and this has happened to me numerous times, where you don't want to go certain places because you know how many times, like, I've cried because I'm like, I don't want to go because I don't want to be judged. Like, family events, like big events, even events for myself where I should be celebrating. Yeah. All I'm thinking about is how I look. Yes. How people are perceiving me.
Yes.
And that's really hard. Like, that's hard. And I think when you've been atypical, right, you don't have sort of like have that experience, like, that can traumatize you. Like, I hate shopping is not pleasurable precisely because I go to the store and it's like I'll try something on, and you know how you build this outfit in your head.
How it's gonna look right.
And then when you put it on, you're like, that is not quite how I envisioned
the bloody outfit. I was like,
and now you're frustrated, and now my mind automatically goes to like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And you're constantly searching for validation, because I know I do this. I'll put something on, and I'll go look for my husband to kind of get the barometer of like, is this okay? Like, if it doesn't say I look cute,
they're liars. They say, oh, you look great in everything.
My husband's kind of brutally honest, so he will tell me. He will tell me. But I think, that's hard. You're always looking for, and then we overcompensate, right? And it might manifest in, like, to your point, we were talking a little bit earlier, you overshop. Yes. Or you feel like you have to have the nicer thing because somebody will compliment that, and it distracts away from the underlying how you feel, right? Like, you have the nice bag, people will focus on that. You have the nice watch, people will focus on that.
That's true.
You have the nice makeup, people will focus on that.
And speaking about makeup, like, I feel my best with makeup on, right? Because I feel like I like my smile. I've always liked my smile, and with makeup, like, my eyes get bigger, like. So I don't even like taking pictures without makeup, right?
Yeah, you don't.
So now in my mind is like, I have to promote myself with makeup on because I feel my most beautiful with makeup on. And that's not wrong, but it's just because I feel like it's a distraction to like what's below my neck, which is the body I don't like.
When that becomes a handicap, that's when it becomes problematic. When you stop living your life, that's when you know you have something you have to face, like head on. And I think part of what's been healing for me for that has been talking openly about it, like being just vulnerable. And it's hard because it's hard to admit, right? And I think also we're type A women, right? Like and so when you feel like everything else in your life you can control, and somehow this is one aspect of your life that you, and again, being heavier, being curvier, or whatever it is, doesn't mean you're unhealthy. I mean, you run freaking marathons. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that on the outside might seem like people think fit and can't even walk 3 blocks.
Right.
Like, so it's just that society has told you you're not beautiful. You're not worthy.
So how does, like BBLs that's been, like, running rampant recently, how does that come in? Like, how do you feel about, like, women who are unhappy with the way they look, and they're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna get a BBL.
So, like, I was always anti-cosmetic surgery for myself, at least, right? Mm-hmm. In my mind, I said I'm gonna reach a point in my life where I'm gonna be able to dedicate, like, working out 7 days a week, and eventually, like, all my imperfections are gonna just become brolic, straight muscles, right? Like, so to me, like, I'm just waiting for that time when I have time to do, like, this regimented workout, where I'm just gonna be fit, Dr. Gel, right?
Got you.
So now it's just like, all right, well, time is slipping. I had a child. I have body changes. How realistic am I being
the time frame.
in having this stringent workout so that I can have the body that I imagine I want? Mm-hmm. So now I'm just like, you know what? After my second child, if God grants me one,
should I get a mommy makeover?
I don't want to, like, I'm probably gonna get definitely a tummy tuck.
And it has so. This is my take on it. I am all for people doing anything that they need to do to make themselves feel good, as long as you do it safely.
Exactly.
Do not go to just
the basement, injecting cement.
Connect with your doctors. Make sure you're doing it right. Like, find a nutritionist, somebody that's really gonna guide you to do it in the safest way possible.
Yeah.
If that's gonna bring you joy, like, I know a lot of women, like, I mean, again, there's certain things like, you want to have breasts because you've always maybe had been a little bit flat chested, and that's going to boost your personality and how you show up for yourself, then do it. But if you're doing it because you think that's going to help you get a man, or like it's external, then that's problematic, because now you're like undergoing major potential surgery for what, right? And I think part of it is like, I think goes hand in hand with like, talk to a therapist, work through some of that underlying trauma, because the thing is, you can change the outside, but if your inside is still in that trauma, guess no matter how much makeup, no matter how many designer things you buy, no matter
how many BBLs,
you're gonna be that person, you know what I mean? So I think that that's super important. I think that this journey, like, image, you know, like image issues, you have to treat the underlying, like the root cause of it, because you have to learn to re-love yourself.
Yes.
And I think it invites us to begin to think about how do we create a society where like women don't feel like they have to fit into a specific opinion, which I think is so difficult. Even when we talked in the previous episode, right? Like it's literally this way that society has like functions, and that women are constantly under the microscope, right? To talk, speak, learn, dress, act, right? Like because it's the patriarchy, bro. Like, right? The powers that be, right?
They.
The they.
Yes.
You know, but right, like, it is really challenging. And imagine the pressure that comes with that, right? Like, how much of your mental energy then is spent thinking about that, where that's the same energy for really amazing, brilliant ideas and projects. But now we've spent how many...
Such and such,
years,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's...
Like it's like even as we've been talking, I've been thinking about when I was younger and saying like I never felt like I looked grown up enough, right? Like it was like, oh my gosh, you look like a 10-year-old. I looked like a 10-year-old since I was like 21.
Yeah.
Right? And so this constant like feeling like people weren't looking at you because you didn't look like a woman,
an adult,
right? Like you didn't look adult enough, you know. I still get you look young, right? Like, and is it like the shape of my body, like how my face looks, and you're like, what do I have to do to look like a grown up?
I got a beard.
Right?
Before my beard, I was like, you know, everybody was carding me, and it was cool. But now that I have a beard, more of the older.
Except that then you're like, you know, yes, collagen, yes, skin, because you know what? There's people that pay to look like you. So it's sort of this sense of you're never content, right? It's like, you know, you always want the thing you don't have. And so that's why I say fundamentally it's like learning to love ourselves and show up for ourselves, because to your point, Joanne, earlier, it's like your body has done amazing things for you. Your body birthed life. Your body has carried you, right? Your body has been good to you. So I think as long as you're being good to your body, right? Like you're not punishing your body for not doing the thing you think you wanted to do, is sort of how can I nurture myself, right?
Yes.
And listeners, mind your business about other people's bodies.
Yes,
like,
please.
You know, I say it all the time.
You want to give me a compliment? Not really necessary. You think it's not a compliment? Probably keep it to yourself.
Dominican king folk. Listen. Do not greet me with like, oh, well, you put on a few pounds. I'm like, you know what? I have a mirror at home.
Jamaicans do the same thing.
Yes.
Like Jamaicans will see you and be like, "Hey, skinny boy." I'm like, hi.
What
I have a name. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like I haven't seen you in months, and this is the thing you choose to like.
I have a few suggestions.
Like, how rude are you? And like, I want to make them feel like bad, but I mean, it's just not in my
Let's
nature.
go with
nice
to see you.
Yes.
I've missed you. I have a few different phrases that I can
that
offer
work,
you
right.
as a way to welcome me. Right?
I've gotten to the point where like, I don't congratulate you on the pregnancy. You could be about like 1 week away from your delivery date.
Yeah,
you're not pregnant to me, right? Like, I don't see a pregnancy. I see a woman
until
and that's who might have a child, right? So like,
yes.
And on my way here, I was listening to Soul Cycle Radio, and one of the trainers said something, you know, that you pretty much said, Anibel. So she said, forgive your body for the things it hasn't done, so you can celebrate the things it will do. And I was like,
preach.
And I felt that, and I was like, wow, right? Like, that forgiving part is probably one of the hardest things to do. But you have to remind yourself that you're capable of so much, and you've done so much.
Right.
Because it's really easy to hyper-focus on what hasn't happened, what could happen, what should happen,
and you
what
miss out
isn't.
on life.
Exactly.
I feel that it's you're robbing yourself of living your life, right? Like if it's like, I'm not gonna go to the beach because I'm dreading having to get into a bait. No, you know what? I'm gonna go and let it all hang out.
Yeah.
And if you like it, fine. If you don't, fine.
Yeah.
And so you know what? But it's having that capacity to not let the outside in, right? Where you're shining from within in whatever size you are, right? Like every size is beautiful because it's you. Yeah. It's like you're you and right. Life is dynamic. if we all were the same person, then it would be so boring. Yeah, right? Yes. And so I think it's the same. Our bodies are going to go on journey. And I think another thing, just talking about just body, we have a big issue. I think it's global, but especially in this country with aging. People are terrified of aging. You know what, people? We're all going to get old. Yeah. That's just part of life. And our grays are beautiful. Yes. Wrinkles are beautiful. Cellulite is beautiful. Stretch marks are beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Like, it's just how we just put this negative lens and everybody wants to be stiff. And
people, when people are like, oh, me estoy poniendo viejo, or oh, I'm getting old, I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. I was like, aging is such a beautiful process. And people get taken aback when I tell them that. And they're like, oh, I guess so, but can I freeze time? Who was I talking to? But they're like, oh, I should freeze time. And I'm like, no, right? Like, growing old is a privilege.
Yeah.
And to be in to be with your present, right? To be with everything that you're living and experiencing, instead of waiting for some external whomever validation to tell you that you're good enough. Like, you are worthy. If you're listening, right? You are worthy right now. You don't have to wait to become something to be worthy. You don't need to wait until somebody tells you that you look, feel, whatever that you've accomplished. Yeah. Like, you are that already. And so much of that is like a whole new narrative that you have. It's retraining ourselves to not be waiting for somebody else to tell us that we're good enough. That we are enough.
Yes.
We should be kind to ourselves.
Yes.
And with that, we can go to our random act
of kindness. So I hope you folks have delivered your flowers to our local elder folk. So, you know, since we're talking about self-love and self-expression and like really accepting ourselves for who we are, our random act of kindness is now practicing self-kindness and spending 30 minutes doing something you love to do today. So
what I love to do?
I will scroll on online shopping apps more than 30 minutes. You don't even give me a time limit. So
wait, but is that self-care or is it self-soothing? There's a difference.
Oh, I like that distinction.
I'm going to watch Top Boy.
That's a soothing. It's definitely soothing.
Top Boy?
And that's okay sometimes too. But if you're really doing self-care, make sure you're doing something that, even though it might be hard, it's going to be nurturing to fill Joanne, where you're like, I showed up for myself.
Pour into yourself.
Pour in.
I like that.
Yeah. 30 minutes with your favorite book.
Yes. Oh, I was reading.
Dr. Joe, 30 minutes with your favorite book.
All right.
You'll have to tell them what you're reading in the next episode.
Oh, yes. And actually, I've been meaning to finish because it's a discussion I want to have, but it's a Malcolm Gladwell book.
I love Malcolm Gladwell.
The best.
Yes.
The best.
I love his podcast.
Oh, I try to read. I really
Revisionist history,
and I can't. It's like I can't.
Really?
David told me about revisionist history, and I subscribe, and I'm just like, this is a drag.
It's
Well,
it's good.
There's some good reads. Kind folks.
We'll get to it.
Thank you for joining us on yet another episode.
This has been amazing. To our guests, thank you very, very much. It's been an experience.
The Belle experience.
The Belle experience.
Oh my gosh.
The Belle sisters.
Trademark that.
We're working on that LLC. We'll come back to tell you more about it.
Spin-off podcast.
Right. Under the Vital Check moniker.
Gosh.
Let's do it.
Future merch with the branding.
Oh my gosh.
You can have like two bells just like doing stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to talk offline about that. All right, well, thank you, kind folks, for joining us again. Have a happy rest of your week. Stay safe. Be well. Until next time.
Bow.